The sunlight streamed through the half-opened blinds, casting warm golden rays over the room. Wine stirred under the blanket, blinking as she turned to see Jungkook already awake. He sat at the edge of the bed, scrolling through his phone. Wine. Morning, she mumbled, her voice raspy. Jungkook turned and smiled softly, setting his phone down. Jungkook. Morning, sleepyhead. Wine. You're up early? She said, stretching lazily. Jungkook. Couldn't sleep, so I was thinking, let's make it a lazy morning. Just you, me, and a whole lot of pastries. She perked up instantly. Wine. Pastries? You know the way to my heart. Jungkook smiled and leaned close to her to kiss her on the lips. But she pushed him away from his chest, making him look at her with a confusing face. Wine. But we have to go to the office, and then I'm heading straight home, she said loudly. Jungkook moaned. Why? Why do we, why do you have to go so early? Wine. Jungkook, I already lied to my mom about the sleepover with my friend. I can't do it for another day. What if she finds out? Jungkook looked at her with a sad face, so she said after a few seconds, Wine. Okay, let's eat pastries, but then we will have to run for office. Jungkook smiled widely and said loudly, Deal, he said and kissed her on the lips, making her laugh. Half an hour later, they were strolling into their favorite cafe. The smell of freshly baked bread and brewed coffee attracted them. Wine immediately went towards the glass display, her eyes lighting up at the choices of treats. Wine. Two croissants, one chocolate muffin, and a Danish, she said, pointing eagerly. Jungkook. Don't forget the coffee, he said, chuckling at her excitement. They settled at a corner table as Wine tore into her croissant. Jungkook watched her with an amusement. Jungkook. You're going to leave me with crumbs, aren't you? He teased. She grinned, holding out a piece for him. Wine. Sharing is caring. Jungkook. Why does that only apply to you? Wine giggled. Because I'm cute. The way she lowered her pitch to say that and the sound of her giggle made him swallow and stare at her non-stop. Jungkook. That's completely unfair. She laughed and kept eating without stopping. They spent the next hour chatting about everything and nothing, and then they made their way towards the office, entering one by one so that no one would know that they were dating. Just like how her parents don't know. She is waiting for the right time, or rather, she is just too shy to admit. The lunch gathering started off uneventfully when they reached. The group sat at a long table, the chatter and clinking of glasses filling the air. Wine was in the middle of sharing an idea for a project she was so excited to work on. The idea was amazing, and everyone from Wine's team was excited to do it. Across from her sat Ryan from the other team, but there is no real rivalry against the team, except that he takes everything personally. She was speaking when Ryan, seated across from her, interrupted. Ryan, isn't that a little out of your league? I mean, not everyone has the skills to pull something like that off. The table fell silent. Wine's smile froze, her grip tightening on her foot. She glanced at Jungkook, who gave her an encouraging note. Wine. I think I'll manage, Wine said evenly, though her eyes burned with anger. Wine. It's not that complicated once you put in the effort. Ryan scoffed, leaning back in his chair. Ryan. Sure, if you say so. Some of us have real responsibilities, though. It must be so nice to have it so easy. That was the breaking point. Wine. You know what, Ryan? If you're so unhappy with your own life, maybe you should focus on fixing it instead of tearing other people down. Ryan blinked, caught off guard by her directness. Ryan, I didn't mean it like that. Wine. Yes, you did. But next time you feel like taking a jab at someone, maybe think twice. It's not a good look. The tension was palpable. Jungkook stayed quiet but kept his eyes on Ryan, his jaw clenched. That evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Vine walked to her car after meeting a friend. The parking lot was quiet, the shadows long and eerie. She was rummaging through her bag for her keys when she heard footsteps behind her. Turning, she saw Ryan approaching her, his expression hard. Vine. Ryan? Ryan. We need to talk. His tone was aggressive. Vine. I don't think we do. She replied, stepping back, but he grabbed her wrist with a tight grip. Ryan. You don't get to humiliate me in front of everyone and walk away like nothing happened. Vine. Let me go. Her voice rose, and before she could react further, a familiar voice cut through the tension. Let her go. Jungkook emerged from the shadows, his face like thunder. He strode forward, pulling Vine behind him. Jungkook, walk away, Ryan. He warned, his voice dangerously low. Ryan sneered, but didn't release Vine immediately. Ryan, she needs to learn some respect. Jungkook didn't hesitate. He punched Ryan in the face, letting him fall on the floor and unintentionally let go of her hand. Jungkook pulled Vine behind him and whispered, wait here, okay? You're fine now. She nodded, hesitant, and Jungkook looked at Ryan, pulling out his phone. Jungkook, you're done. The police are on their way. Ryan's eyes widened and he tried to escape, but Jungkook kept him there until the police arrived. All while Vine watched. By the time they got home, exhaustion and relief had set in. Vine sat on the couch, her hands trembling slightly. Jungkook knelt in front of her, taking her hands in his. Jungkook, you're okay. I'm here. She nodded, tears brimming in her eyes. Vine, thank you. I don't know what I would have done if you hadn't been there. He kissed her knuckles gently. You don't have to thank me. Protecting you isn't a choice, it's instinct. They spent the evening cuddled on the couch, a blanket wrapped around them. Jungkook ordered their favorite takeout, insisting she needed to eat. As they dug into the food, Vine finally smiled. Jungkook looked at her smiling face and said, you're the strongest person I know. Don't let anyone make you doubt that. She smiled, tilting her head to kiss him softly. Vine, and you're the bravest. Thank you for always being there. Jungkook, always. He promised, pulling her closer. Vine, and what about my mom? I didn't tell her that I would be here again. I should get back, don't you think? Jungkook, no way I'm letting you go home today. Not after what happened. Vine, Jungkook, my mom. Jungkook, can you tell her about what happened today? If she doesn't know, she wouldn't be able to take care of you the way you deserve it today. So, no going home. Vine, fine. I'm going to call my mom in front of you. And when she refuses me, you're dropping me home quietly. Jungkook, give me the phone. I will talk to her. Wine. Are you an idiot? Shivered Jungkook. In a girl's voice. He said immediately. Let me complete. Wine scoffed. As if you have the deepest voice I know. And besides, Jungkook looked at her with mock offense. This is not the time for romance, my lady. We have to solve the matter at hand, he said playfully. Wine took the pillow in her hand and hardly threw it on Jungkook's face. Wine, is this the time for fun? I'm so worried and you. Forget it. I'm going home, she said and got off the bed. Jungkook laughed and wrapped his arms around her waist, pulling her towards him. Jungkook, okay, okay, let's call her and you will talk. Beg her or whatever. For one day, please, he said with a soft voice and a puppy face. Wine looked at him for a few seconds and finally sighed. You're lucky I love you. Jungkook, hee hee. And then, while sitting on his lap, she called her mother. Although she yelled at Wine at first, but when she insisted too much, her mother didn't have a choice. Jungkook screamed inwardly, and as soon as the call cut down, he picked her from her waist while she screamed and laughed. Wine, stop, Jungkook. Jungkook, not tonight, he said, spinning her around, and her laughter filled the room.